pace of the game that they want to play. Pagani's going to take that one all the way to the backboard. Double tap will be able to find it.
Malgo eyes on Tiny Shiny, didn't know to get the health pack, but maybe they are. And here we go, Tiny Shiny getting that second pick. Getting the third one on Opal Bison. Danny
back and look at the crouch dashes immediately coming out.
Chris will on FD.
Chris will on FD.
He might go down. Chris Ron, final destination, and it's Katsuya Mishima. What are we doing, bro?
Advantage and an opportunity, gets a great play there all the way up, and that's dangerous. Everybody's hard to give some easy, but Backhand able to make it back to the ledge, and he finds the forward smash, and it's enough to get it done! Kim finds the forward smash, and the team is able to breathe! Welcome everybody to a Thursday evening of Super Smash Bros. That's usually what we have, but instead it's going to be a Rocket League evening here tonight as our SU Rocket League squad performs and takes center stage for the NECC Top 16 bracket here today. First things first, going up against Arkansas here, and then a possible doubleheader as well. I'm Ben Kincaid, joined by Gavin Eldridge. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling good, Ben. How are you doing?
Doing great. I'm very excited for the potential of a doubleheader here with our Rocket League team in NECC. Looking very, very strong throughout the season and hoping to continue their momentum with this roster that we have here at SU to greater and further heights.
Yeah, and for people who are kind of confused, like, oh, this isn't Smash, like you yourself, Smash has a bye week, or I guess a break, more so for Easter. Then they will resume their Nationals run for next week. But now we get to enter Rocket League Nationals, which is very exciting. They are entering in the top 16 of NECC.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very fun seeing this Rocket League team perform yet again, because they did have a little bit of a break. It was like, a week and a half, 2 weeks kind of off of their normal Rocket League playtime that we have weekly with this squad. So hoping to break off some rust here. Hopefully there's not a whole lot of rust to be knocked off, because we know this team, they play all the time anyways, so they're always well versed in their mechanics and stuff like that. But let's take a quick look at what the opponent here looks like as we compare these two squads. 4-4 here for Arkansas, 17-15 the game record, and a 50% win ratio, playing 500 ball here is Arkansas.
Yeah, and something to note, like the series record looks kind of skewed. This includes playoffs, where obviously Shenandoah, we won our division, and Arkansas entered into playoffs as the third seed and was a round one exit. So their series record is obviously way shorter. But the biggest thing to know about Shenandoah is that they have 41 games over 10 series, right? Yeah. So they usually go to game 4, but hardly ever go to game 5. So again, it's like this momentum-based team that we're seeing from them.
And a lot of times with this SU squad, we see that game 1 kind of drop and not fully there in full. But then once that ball really starts going, the momentum is really hard to stop with this SU squad that we were going to take a quick look at here. Our normal Thursday squad that we've seen all semester long. We're going to see Pagani, Mango, and Kiazi. No Elim here tonight as they've been playing in the NECC competition. Pagani's been the one to fill that slot in this varsity roster. But yeah, Mango, Kiazi, we see them week in, week out. Pagani as well, doing a great job and really making a name for themselves here for this roster, performing exceptionally well.
Yeah, I mean, Pagani has been playing out of his mind lately. 2 weeks ago, we kind of had that highlight reel moment of his double tap off the ceiling. And things like that, he's starting to come more into this team and become more of a unit with them. Obviously, when you change the roster around from one team to the next and one competition to the next, you run into a couple of growing pains of it's like, okay, this player likes to play this specific way and this one likes to do this. But they seem to really start coming together, which is nice because now we're in the big leagues. Like, this is where the games matter the most.
Yeah, and this could be a fairly close game, right? I mean, we've seen this SU squad drop games that we think they should be winning, right? But this team now has kind of found a groove of opening up a lot of passing lanes and a lot of speed in their game plan, that there's not many gaps on the defensive end of this team that other teams can capitalize on. It's been a lot of offensive pressure from this squad, mainly from Mango. We often see that player kind of spearheading that offensive attack, but having Pagani now, a very confident player in the aerial department and really the offensive department as a whole, has really kind of elevated this team to another level of, hey, we can really play offense here and not have to drop this ball and lose possession often.
Yeah, and playing offense is kind of the key of the game, obviously, with Rocket League, but especially in this matchup, Shenandoah comes into Nationals at the 3rd seed, and then Arkansas, obviously, as the 14th seed. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of this David versus Goliath moment where Shenandoah is going to attempt to push the pressure up tempo, keep it, very, very interactive, very active. Mm-hmm. And Arkansas is kind of wanting to just feel it out and maybe play a little slower until they can figure out what Shenandoah's weaknesses are.
Yeah, and mind you, there are not many weaknesses that we will possibly see here today. One thing that I have noticed across the entire school calendar year is sometimes they overcommit, right? There's a lot of times where a clear gets on target from the other team and no one is back in time on that defensive rotation because they're like, oh, let's just keep peppering shots. They have a double commit. Sometimes that becomes a triple commit. Kiazi usually playing that midfield area, but sometimes gets a little ahead of himself. Goes like, hey, I'm going to try to take a shot. And if that misses, goes off target, or it is one in a 50-50 in the air somewhere, there's no one back on that defensive side. So that's sometimes where we see this SU squad start to slip up, and then that kind of snowballs out of control on their end. So sometimes we've seen just kind of 1-0 games, 2-0 games quickly become 2-2, 3-2, and then it kind of fall apart from there.
And Mango being the captain, that's kind of his game plan going into it. He's a very, very aggressive player, so obviously he's going to kind of lead the team to play how he wants to play. So he's oftentimes calling for these double commits or these triple commits, these extravagant passing plays. Even if they slightly miss, he still wants to go for them because he's that confident in himself as a player. Mm-hmm. And he's just trying to make the team follow him as a good captain, a good leader should be, rather than, play your own way and hope your team follows, make them follow. Be very assertive in how you are. So obviously these double commits, they're kind of a detriment to us, but also that's usually how we win our games too.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times that second player coming in is going to be Pagani a lot of the time, and they have really kind of stepped up the angles of these shots, right? We've seen kind of like the stock standard, like straight shots at the net, but now they're kind of using that backboard, using that crossbar, using flip resets, a lot of boosts, and finding a lot of these angles that we weren't really seeing from them at the beginning of the semester. So playing with Mango, with Kiazi, has kind of opened up more of his own game plan and game style of being able to really follow up confidently and kind of mix it up. It's not the same old every single time. It's always a different angle coming through from Pagani.
Yeah, and the one same old that you will always see is that Mango has these huge defensive clears or these defensive possessions where he has control of the ball, and then Kiazi will take it off of him and go for a deep pass. But it's always Mango that rotates back seemingly the fastest, and he makes that first save. Unless Kiazi's making an incredible save, it always leads from Mango starting it off. So this kind of attack, they basically just rotate around each other. Like they're doing kind of like a weave in essence, where Mango will rotate back, Kiazi and Pagani will go forward, and then Kiazi stops in the midfield, and then Mango will push up as well. It's really, really nice to see when it goes off, but obviously sometimes kind of falters a little bit, and then we let up some easy goals.
Yeah, it's definitely nice to see because they kind of have almost like a clock, right? All the commits will kind of rotate around. Sometimes we do see Mango back on that defensive side, and it's Pagani and Kiazi on the offensive side. But hey, don't just hear it from us, right? We have a player standing by. Kevin is with Kiazi to walk us through a little bit of what they're thinking about going into this matchup.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Ben and Gavin. I am here to talk a little bit about the matchup we have going against Arkansas. I gotta ask, how are you feeling going into this match?
Oh, I'm feeling ecstatic right now. We just came off of winning our region for NECC. We're number 1 seed in the playoffs right now, so I'm feeling great, and I just hope we win this match.
Yeah, buddy. Now, it sounds like you will have 2 matches here tonight, taking the win game 1. I'm curious, have you been through events that are, have had back-to-back games where you're going very quickly from one game to another, and how does that kind of affect the mentality going into it?
I would say not so much. It's very rare that we have a doubleheader. That's why throughout this week we've been trying to double scrim constantly, so that we're just used to playing back-to-back. So.
Very nice. Last thing I gotta ask. The team, I see them warming up. They were kind of getting into the flow of things. How is the team feeling as we're hitting the end of the semester? Y'all still feeling good, feeling loose?
Yeah, we're feeling good. We're at the top of our game right now, honestly. Our teamwork is outstanding. Our overall vibes are up, and we're about to go in and win this match.
Yeah, buddy. So with that being said, I will let you get back into the swing of things. I will pass it back over to Ben and Gavin, and hopefully we get to see some of those high vibes on the camera later on. So guys, take it away.
It's good to hear that they are in high spirits, right? Trying to go off of that win. I also like the approach that they've been taking throughout the week, the double scrim blocks, right? Back to back, trying to get warmed up for the potential of a long day. I like that they've kind of taken that approach of like, hey, let's get used to playing long, playing back to back in very intense scenarios so we can bring that into Thursday.
Yeah, playing back to back, that's a big thing. And like, you know, when you're competing in esports, there's a lot of this like physical toll that you take or mental toll that you take, and it doesn't really become apparent until you go into these long series, like specifically like best of fives or other specific games. So this idea of scrimming back to back, you just want to make sure that you're mentally straight for the second series. You know, this first series, you're going to feel good, whatever. But if this first series goes to game 5, you know, it's really, really close, like overtime goal or whatever, you're kind of scatterbrained at that moment. So now you need to collect yourself, and doing that double scrim block, if you have the mentality of every single game is playoffs, you know, game 5 playoffs, whatever, then you will kind of become accustomed to that. And that's good to see from them.
Yeah, and I also like the fact that, like, it's going to get harder if they win, right? The teams do get better if you continue to win. And if you do win here in this first matchup against Arkansas, so having that double scrim block kind of allows you to be like, all right, we can't like get distracted if we had a clean 3-0 to start the evening, because it's going to get progressively harder as you go on here in Nationals and NECC. So hearing that is definitely good to hear. Great to hear that the team is high spirits. Of course, Kiazi, one of our most emotive, I guess, player here at SU. Very, very high energy, high spirits, high hopes for this team. And we've seen them time and time again come up with huge wins and have their mentality be a lot of that driving force with their success.
Yeah, and Kiazi and Mango, them two specifically, they get distracted easily.
That's true.
You know, like they'll feel pretty good, and they'll like, oh yeah, we're like winning. You know, I scored 3 goals or whatever, and they get distracted. So it's really up to the coach, Qualler, to kind of regain them and basically put them to, hey, you're still in a series. You're in a long series. You know, we potentially have 2 back-to-back series. You cannot get distracted as we go into this first game here.
There we go into the kickoff of game number 1. Both of these series, mind you, are best of 5, so it will be a minimum of 3 games, a maximum of 5, as Kiai's going to take it up in the air and will find a very, very quick goal within the first 11 seconds.
Yeah, kind of a rare sight from Kiazi, kind of taking it himself. Usually that's a pass to maybe Mango there, but instead he just decides to send it all the way, and it's a beautiful touch. You know, obviously just looking for the clear, but Arkansas, no one was really there to contest it. So Kiazi just said, why not me? Why not me in this moment?
No, I mean, exactly. The wide open net as well. Just like, hey, why not make it simpler? Don't make it more complicated than it has to be. We have a clear on target. Let's just take it the distances. And that's exactly what Kiazi did, as Arkansas now trying to get a little bit of offensive power going. Fruit tossing that one across into the corner, but Pagani's already up in the air. Pass down to Mango, directing that one towards the goal, but Blitz is there on the defensive end.
Yeah, and it seems like Arkansas is a little bit scattered right now. That first goal may have thrown them off their track a little bit, because we see some slight mistouches there. In the center field, we had a pretty good shot, but it just looked like they kind of hit it in the wrong direction with their car and just kind of sent it to the wall, and that's not really what you want to see. So now Arkansas is trying to keep this pressure going to get Shenandoah to back off a little bit, so that way they can regain their composure. But here we see Mango look for a save, and it's really close. Actually, Kiazi's there with the double touch and able to save it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great carry coming in from Blitz there, but like you said, the defense coming through from SU holding strong, a 50-51 again from Arkansas, but won't be able to capitalize on that one. Fruit now in the corner. Mango stopping that one, but struggling to get it past this corner mark, right? They're stuck in this corner, but finally Kiazi able to find a clear, a touch. Maybe not the one that Fruit was looking for, but we'll be able to get capitalized on and on point the pinch there from Blitz. We saw the player from SU moving towards the goal, that far post, but it went near post. Kiazi unable to turn around in time, tied up 1-1.
Yeah, I mean, the 50-50 is obviously tragic, but it's because Arkansas is putting out this oppressive offense. It just feels like Shenandoah has no chance to believe. They have to go for these 50-50s because they're not in the position to contest. And obviously, if you keep doing them 1,000 times, eventually the coin's going to land heads and they're going to get a goal from it.
Yeah, Kiazi now trying to move out of the corner. No boost. The ball stalemated there in front of the goal for a time being. Blitz now back up in the air. Flip reset is set up, tossing it back down, but no one will be able to capitalize. And Kiazi is there to find the clear. Fruit now backwards pass over to Blitz. Let's see if SU can come alive again on this offensive side as Pagani looks for a cross.
Yeah, SU, you know, we talked about being quiet game one. They had that electric goal at the start with Kiazi, but then after that, it just seems like they kind of quieted down. Kiazi had a really good touch there, but Blitz was on the rotation, able to get back in the goal. That was really good awareness for him. But now Mango has the ball in his side of the court. Let's see how he can play it off. Maybe playing off of Pagani here, unfortunately, too far for him.
Yeah, I thought it might have been a pinch angle off of that wall, but as soon as they started to go low on that ball, I was like, okay, this is just kind of a pass, just trying to take up some time and get some plays set up as Fruit has a shot on goal, but Kiazi is able to push that one off into the corner. Mango with a little bit of a breakaway, but not a whole lot of boost to work with as now Kiazi tries to find a cross, but it was well cleared and well answered by Arkansas here. Still tied up 1 apiece here with 2 to go.
Yeah, and SU just, it seems like everything's desperation. You know, they're going for these 50-50s. They're going for these really far touches. They're not able to control the ball because Arkansas is just living in SU's third of the map. Like, they're just constantly putting on these shots. Even if they're not good quality shots, you still have to make the save. You still have to actually go through the motions of making a save, and then obviously Arkansas is going to get possession back. So being able to get it out of this third is really the most important thing, and it seems like Mango's trying to do it himself.
Yeah, Kiazi trying to get a touch up high, but instead sends it low. Pagani was demoed earlier on. Kiazi getting demoed there. Back on defense is Arkansas, able to redirect that one into the corner. Minute 20 to go, still tied up 1 apiece. SU now starting to come alive in the passing game here on the offensive side, but won't be able to connect on anything just yet. Mango back on defense. Some boost to work with, but not a whole lot. We'll just flip that one up for a pass. Flip reset is there into the post, but won't be able to find the goal. Fruit there on defense.
Man, that was a rare two-man play from Kiazi and Mango. Usually we see Pagani in that situation, but just kind of trying to bump Mango up a little bit more to get the ball a little bit higher. Unable to connect, but again, that kind of gets Arkansas a little scared now as we go into 45 seconds left, tied game. Mango with the ball. Unable to do anything from it.
And Mango gets that full boost there as well. Pagani trying to make something happen, but a good clear yet again coming through from the SU squad as Blitz was there on that backboard pass, pinched back up into the corner. 30 seconds now. Fruit has some boost to work with, will fall down, trying to find a pinch pass to Blitz, but won't be able to connect. Now it's off the ceiling, far corner. No one there for SU just yet. Pagani not able to make contact on target shot, but instead Kiazi's there for the save. Let's see if Mango can do anything with it. 10 seconds left. Back and forth thus far, tied up here. Mango has some boost to work with, an open net, toss it into the corner, but too fast. Unable to find the touch. We go to overtime in game number 1.
Man, SU has got to play a little bit safer there. They went for the double commit, and it was trying to pinch it off, but unfortunately unable to land. Mango up top, kind of just tossing it down, looking for a different play off of it. Here comes Pagani, though.
Pagani off the ceiling, won't be able to connect as they run out of boost themselves. Blitz with a touch, but Mango already back on that defensive side, tossing that one off to Pagani, who has a nice touch there. Another shot on goal, but it's off the corner. Now up in the air again is Arkansas. Another save coming through. Kiazi now finding that one. 30 seconds into the overtime. Mango tossing into the corner, some boost to work with. Pagani on the cross, tosses it up. The touch is there, but off the post. Yet again, Kiazi unable to follow up. No boost to work with. Almost a triple commit from SU, but they are unable to find it.
Yeah, triple commit, but it's kind of finding that situation because they just have possession. You know, went off the corner, which was unfortunate, but Kiazi was right there just to block the ball. Pagani now unable to get a touch, but Kiazi's there as a superhero he is.
Yeah, Blitz trying to get active in the air. Mango, possible double tap. Kiazi following up, but no. Back on defense again is Arkansas, finding yet another save. Pagani with a whiff into the corner, but Mango with that demo might have just saved the momentum, swinging it back into their favor. Into the corner again goes Fruit. Mango with a shot on goal, but instead Arkansas clearing it yet again off into the corner. Let's see if they can capitalize off of the clear of mid pass coming through, but no one there from Arkansas to follow up.
Man, Kiazi just looking to make a play, solo play there. Mango off the backboard, maybe off the corner now. And it's looking like Pagani can get a shot off, but Steezy with a great save on the backside.
Oh, Kiazi finds the angle, squeaks it through three members of Arkansas. A minute 40 overtime in game number 1 comes up SU. I mean, the defense was there from Arkansas, but that triple commit finally came through from Kiazi, and it paid dividends. Game 1 there for SU.
Man, I'll be honest, I have no idea how that ball went in. You know, you see 3 people on the goal, you're like, okay, anything that basically goes in is going to get covered. You know, they can cover all 3/3 of the goal, but somehow Kiazi just kind of squeezed his way through like a weasel, and it was really, really well played. But obviously now, we see the emotions of the players. They're entirely locked in. That first game was way too close for their liking. Now they just have to lock back in. It made it seem like the first goal for Kiazi was really electric, but after that, they kind of fell asleep until overtime. It seemed like for the first 4 minutes or so, they were just constantly on the defensive end, and in overtime, they're like, okay, now we have to be on the offensive. We have to change the way we're playing. So it's a really good adaptation for them to see, but now they have to continue that into Game 2 and Game 3.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very, very close game 1 there. A 2-1 overtime victory. So, hey, we kind of knew this about this SU squad, right? Sometimes they aren't able to come out swinging like they would like to. While, yes, they come up with the win in game number 1, it was very, very close and almost lost as well. Kiazi and Mango coming up with massive goals, well, saves rather, for the SU side of things. And hey, we'll have to see if they can keep it up, but it was Kiazi with the 2 goals on the side of SU there in game number 1. Let's see if Pagani and Mango can make an appearance here in the score column.
Yeah, all eyes on Kiazi now, obviously. Mango usually the one with the most amount of goals, but Kiazi just decided to take that first game. Everything was in his hands, but here we go, because Kiazi has to make an awkward touch here. Oh no, Pagani's going to go up for instead. Ooh. Now, really, really scary moment there, hitting the ball straight down, but it was able to bounce up. Kind of unfortunate Arkansas was not able to get anyone there, but again, Arkansas with this offensive attack, they are just suffocating out Shenandoah. They're all sitting at like 30, 50 boosts, and they can't make an offensive attack from it.
Yeah, I mean, very, very close here. Now we see Arkansas back on the defensive side of things. Fruit now trying to push this one out of the corner. Kiazi meeting that one halfway. Stizzy there able to find the clear off into midfield, but won't be able to follow up on that one as it's Mango able to push that one back into Arkansas's half of the pitch. Arkansas needs to try to find a clear, but right now struggling to do so.
Yeah, I mean, back and forth this game is good shot from Pagani, but just a little bit too high. But now Shenandoah is the one that's kind of suffocating out Arkansas. Nobody has any boost. And here we see Pagani go up, but it was a great save off of the back wall. Unfortunate for Pagani, he couldn't get the double touch, but again, now Arkansas is able to make that goal. You know, we talked about the triple commits, the double commits. No one can rotate back when you use all this boost. So kind of just part of the game plan for Shenandoah. They're going to give up some of those goals. They recognize that. They know what's going to happen. Arkansas gets a freebie there.
And it looked like Kiazi was on the way back, but was unable to get there in time because of the lack of boost. Unable to find those saves or that speed, rather, to get back in time. They did recognize the pattern, but just unable to get there. Kiazi now trying to make up for their mistake, but Stizzy there to find the save. Another target from Mango coming through, but won't be able to find the goal yet again. It's the post in the way of SU's scoring presence.
Man, that was a really creative shot from Mango. He came off the ceiling and kind of just floated straight down, popped the ball straight up, and it was looking for an arrow off of that. Kind of a different line from normal Rocket League, we would say. Like, usually you just look for the shot straight off the ceiling. But he was trying to do something a little goofy, a little spicy, and it almost worked, but it just a little bit too off.
Stizzy had an opportunity, but instead tosses it down to the ground. Blitz now up in the air, but no boost to work with yet again. Pagani pushing that one off into the corner. Stizzy with a cross, but no, Kiazi catching that one instead. Now about halfway through game number 2 here, Arkansas maintaining that 1-0 lead, but we'll see if Mango can change. That flip reset is there, but won't be able to find the angle, faking it out for a potential Kiazi angle, but won't be able to find it. Blitz back. Oh, a whiff coming through. Mango with a shot, or excuse me, Pagani with a shot on goal. Kiazi had an opportunity, but just whiffed on the ball entirely. Blitz holding strong on defense.
And Ben, look at the boost for Fruit and Stizzy. Like, they're just constantly on 0. Shenandoah keep doing this attack, and these saves are these goals are really, really close to connecting because they have no boost. The boost backets are all being taken by Shenandoah. Mango gets a really good shot there, but no one's there to follow it up. But again, super close because everybody from Arkansas has 0 boost.
We'll have to see if Mango can make some magic happen, but right now SU is finding themselves heavily on the defensive side here in game number 2. 1.5 minutes to work with, still plenty of time on the clock, but no, Stizzy instead. Maybe you should have been the #1 overall pick instead of Cam Ward there. 2-0 lead now for Arkansas.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of an awkward touch from Pagani. You never like to be in that angle where the ball kind of just rolls up and you don't know what to do with it. Obviously, you don't want to send it to the other wall because then Arkansas has full possession. So instead, you look for kind of a play in your third, but Kiazi just was not on the same page as Pagani. That he kind of just went to the left instead of hitting the ball straight forward, and just unfortunate timing.
Yeah, Mango trying to meet that one half field, but unable to win out on that 50-50. And now Arkansas find themselves in complete control now of game number 2. Stizzy off the backboard, Blitz with the follow-up. Mango there with the save. Pagani now passing it over to Kiazi off the wall. Doesn't have any boost to work with. It goes over to Mango, but again, Arkansas quick on those defensive rotations, able to find the saves.
Yeah, Arkansas is just feeling really confident right now, constantly keep Shenandoah on the back foot. You know, we saw a good passing play that almost connected, but now Mango kind of sends it into the middle. A little scary, but now he's looking for a play, but it just goes back into the corner now. Kiazi has to make a save, and again, being in this corner, kind of a bad place to be in if you're Shenandoah. As we see a great passing play, just shooting the ball straight down. You know, obviously we go up. Pagani kind of goes up expecting it to kind of get popped up, and instead it just goes straight on the ground.
I mean, there was a beautiful carry coming through from Fruit there as well. I mean, a great pass, and that touch there towards that back wheel sent it right into that bottom left corner instead of tossing it back towards that middle goal area. A great angle coming through from Blitz there. That's 2 now in this game, looking very, very strong.
And there's a 4th from Fruit. At this point now, if you're Shenandoah, you just have to try and get 1 goal to get the momentum back and go into game 3, because at this point, it's not impossible, but it's really hard to come back. You have to look for this kickoff goal and maybe get something a little free, a little cheeky, and then you can keep going from there, but rough spot for Shenandoah to be in.
Yes, especially with 25 seconds left here in game number 2. Does not look likely like they could come back from this one. It will be a miracle to win this game number 2, especially how well Arkansas's defense is playing right now. Clear after clear, shot on goal after shot on goal from this Arkansas red team here. So it's going to be tied up 1-1 once this ball finally meets the ground. We'll see if Mango can end this one on a good note. The pass over to Kiazi won't be able to connect, but you can see a little bit of frustration on the faces of the SU squad.
Yeah, now, you know, some haters might say that, okay, now you have to change your game plan. Now you have to stop double committing, stop triple committing, stop doing all of this. But I would say no, you just have to keep doing it. It's just really, really close moments. These slight mistouches. If you just kind of fix that, adjust it slightly, you can get these goals. Like as we saw in the 0 seconds there, Mango and Pagani both, they were going for that double touch and just barely hit the corner instead of going in. Those types of plays is what Shenandoah has made it so far into nationals, how they've won their division, how they've won everything from making these plays. They just have slight adjustments to do. So don't change. You just have to kind of adjust it slightly.
Yeah, and one thing on the SU side of things is don't get in your heads, right? We know that the mentality of this team sometimes does go a long way, right? So we see some frustration on this squad, but they're talking to their coach, Qualark, kind of resetting that mentality after that blowout win there for Arkansas in game number 2. So let's see what game number 3 has in store. Is Mango going to take more of a defensive approach in this game and kind of set it up for Kiazi and Pagani to try to get in on the action. I mean, we saw no goals from SU in that game number 2, so we'll have to see if they can kind of improve their passing lanes and see if they can really open up some space to work with.
Yeah, no goals in 4 for Arkansas, but those 4 are kind of fraudulent. Usually it's like 2, and then at that point, like, you know, the last 2 are basically just freebies because Shenandoah is putting everything out to try and get those last-second goals, you know, kind of like in hockey when they pull the goalie. It's the same situation, so really that's just a 2-0. You know, as a player, you have to tell yourself that, like, we didn't get 4. We got 2-0, and then we tried to get desperate with it. You know, this series is still very winnable for Shenandoah as it's tied 1-1 with 4:30 left.
Yeah, and we saw some passing avenues coming through. Mango with an angle here, but won't be able to find the touch. Arkansas back on defense in time. Mango up in the air again. Will push that one off to the corner and then down the field to see if they will be able to capitalize on that clear. Not likely. Blitz back in time to corral that ball back for Arkansas. Fruit now receiving the clears coming through from SU. A little cross action coming through, but won't be able to find any angles just yet.
Yeah, and it seems like Shenandoah is kind of playing a little bit more patient. They're not double committing as much. We're usually seeing 2 people in the midfield now, waiting for Arkansas to make a mistake like right here where Mangos kind of gets an offensive attack. Kiazi just slightly mistouches it. The ball's going a little bit too fast for him. But the offense is still alive. Pagani gets a ball straight up. Kiazi's looking to dunk it down. And again, both players just kind of miss. But Mango, here we go again. This is the moment where they just played patient until Arkansas made one slight mistouch, and then now they can pull everything out and try and get this last goal.
Yeah, you can see the passing avenues that SU is going for. They're trying to find that shot into the corner, into that upper cross towards the kind of corner of the goal. Pagani now up in the air. We saw the clip earlier, but we won't be able to see it there. Mango following up. Crossbar is met. Tink. That's not something you want to hear if you are driving one of these cars on the side of SU. Pagani now possibly with an angle to find a cross, but won't be able to find it. Mango as well taking shots, peppering that corner, but still we remain scoreless in game number 3.
Man, I love that play that Pagani just did. He was sitting on 2 boosts, but he still drives up and contests, and it just forces Stizzy to kind of push the ball away because he assumes that Pagani has full boost. There's a lot of mental game that goes behind Rocket League other than just hit the ball. There's a lot of boost management and trying to predict what the enemy is going to do with the amount of boost that they have. And right there, Pagani was able to kind of keep possession going for them. So even though these shots are slightly missing, you know, we're hitting the corner a little bit as we see a goal go through for Fruit. But again, my point still stands. They're doing the right things. It's just slight adjustments that need to be made.
And it looked like there might have been a little bump there on the defender, or maybe Pagani just kind of had a weird angle there as well. But yeah, I mean, Arkansas playing very, very aggressive here halfway through game number 3, finding themselves again with their second lead here of the night. A pass over to Blitz. Mango back on defense. But yeah, look at these passing lanes coming through from Arkansas. They are there, and they are frequent coming through from Arkansas Red.
Man, that was such an unfortunate timing. Pagani may be able to redeem himself, but no. Mango got a shot off. They were expecting him to hit it into the corner, so Pagani rotated back. If you just double committed, stick to the plan, they could have gotten a goal there, but instead now they're trying to play a little bit more safe. They're a little worried. They don't want to get this game to 2-0 now. They just want to keep it close, so safety is the name of the game for them.
Mango with some boost to work with, but won't be able to beat Fruit to the ball there off of the ceiling. Kiazi with a center pass. Pagani with a shot up towards the goal, but won't be able to find it. Mango now trying to find an angle on a double tap, but possibly not the touch that they were looking for. Kiazi across coming through, but again, Arkansas back on the defensive side to find a clear.
Man, these saves off the back wall for Arkansas are really good. Shenandoah keeps trying to do these high crosses and looking to dunk it down into the goal, and it's just not able to connect because of these back wall saves, just like that from Stizzy. They're just able to read the touch and just pop it right down into the corner, and there's nothing that Shenandoah can do when there's an Arkansas player in that corner as well.
Yeah, still only a 1-goal game. A shot on target again coming through from Pagani, but won't be able to find the goal there. A minute left here in game number 3. A very, very slow game is this game number 3. Arkansas scoring just before the halfway mark. Mango tossing that one up towards the crossbar, but again, it's Dizzy back on that clear. Arkansas really locking down on defense.
I would take it from here, Ben. Pagani with the actually crazy goal. Kiazi actually was able, with only 2 boosts in that moment, to get that pass over to Pagani, and it kind of just slots right in. Clearly, Arkansas was not ready for the offensive attack there. Frankly, we weren't ready
Not
either.
at all.
We had no idea that Pagani was able to get the touch and into the free goal.
Yeah, that was an unbelievable touch coming through from Pagani. I did not think that was on target, or I thought that Stizzy was going to be there on the save, so I tossed it to you, and sure enough, a goal immediately. We're tied up 1 apiece now. Mango trying to find a pass out of the corner, but can't do so. Back on defense now is SU. This ball is in a dangerous position. Fruit trying to follow up, but Pagani there on defense. 20 seconds left. Kiazi finding a clear. Mango with some space to work with, but Fruit is back in not back in time. Never mind. The touch was not strong enough. SU up 2-1.
Yeah, that's angles. That's geometry right there. Fruit just had his car kind of angle a little bit more towards the goal than towards the ceiling, so the ball just slides straight off instead of bouncing up. And honestly, kind of a lucky break for Mango, but a really, really good play from him. You know, he gets the speed out and he's able to make the one-on-one, and obviously Fruit was not able to make the save. But with 5 seconds left, Arkansas is looking to make a goal, but Mango's able to pop it off the ground, or off the back wall, and slam it in straight into the ground.
I mean, 2 goals in the final minute of game number 3 to find themselves with a 2-1 series lead. Series point now for the Hornets here in the top 16 NECC Nationals. But man, that was a tough game 3. It took everything to get those shots and those goals in. And I am shocked that Fruit did not have enough momentum to toss that one towards that crossbar. I mean, you heard my pause. I was like, oh, wow. There was a goal. I thought that was an amazing save, but not enough momentum. The angle, like you say, on the car as well, not in the right spot. SU now find themselves on match point.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a little bit confused on how that game was a close game, or if you don't understand why it was a close game, you can take Ben's reactions at both of those goals there. You know, kind of pausing back. It was like, wait a second, that was a goal. Yes, Shenandoah got very lucky in both those goals. No, I don't want to say they should not have been goals, but it was very 50-50 like goals. But obviously, great to see from Shenandoah. You know, obviously they need that momentum to go into Game 4. You know, try and lock out the series now and get ready for the next series.
Yeah, I mean, if they can win here, I mean, that's definitely a big boost to kind of settle the nerves a little bit, advancing into that top 8 of Nationals if they do win this series here. But hey, it's not over yet. Arkansas showed what they can do in game number 2. They kept it very, very close in game number 3, just squandered some of those rotations in that final minute to give SU the win and, well, the lead, and then the eventual win for the Hornets, as now we see a little bit more aggression coming through from the Hornets this go around. Mango with some demos, trying to keep that offensive prowess alive.
Yeah, and if we wanted to think of this game as like soccer tactics, you know, Shenandoah in that Game 3 had a very much a counterattack-based focus, where it was wait for them to make a mistake and then go super fast and look for a quick shot on goal. Pagani, oh my gosh, with the double tap off the corner, unfortunately able to get it in, but really close. And in Arkansas, again, going back to these tactics, Arkansas has more of a possession-based game. They're going to play it really, really slow. They're going to look for these shots, but, you know, not overcommit. So it's 2 polarizing ideas, 2 polarizing tempos, and Shenandoah has come away with 2, and Arkansas has come away with 1.
I mean, Blitz with great defense off of that double tap as well, coming through from Pagani. That ball was moving awfully fast, and being able to read the switch and the tempo of that ball for Blitz was very, very well done to keep this one scoreless in that first minute. So we'll see if SU can get that look yet again. Stizzy passing that one off into the corner, and we'll hope to keep it there for the time being as Mango wins out on the 50-50, has some boosts to work with, and we'll just watch it fall right into the goal. SU up 1-0.
Yeah, and if you're curious how that really happened, that was because Stizzy made an awkward touch. Stizzy made an awkward touch into the corner, and he just didn't realize that the bounce that it would come from, so then he had to make a double touch, and at that point, now you're down an entire member, and Mango's just able to kind of carry it in.
Yeah, I mean, very, very close stuff Indeed, a shot on goal, but Mango back in time on the defensive end for SU to find the save. And Pagani all the way down the field, read like a book, knowing, hey, this clear, this one's coming to me, and I'm putting it right in the net.
Man, Shenandoah practices that one a lot. Again, that's where the play starts in the backfield with Mango, and it goes straight into Pagani's hands. Kiazi's just back there like, oh, I'm just going to wait. You know, maybe if the third touch comes to me, it's fine. But Pagani and Mango, they knew that was a 1-2 play, and it was played perfectly.
Kiazi now with some boosts to work with, but Blitz able to respond in the corner. Pagani now trying to take Kiazi's place in that corner, but won't be able to do so just yet. But look at the 50-50 wins coming through from Mango there. Another potential threatening ball in favor of the Hornets there, but Arkansas able to find the clear yet again, but now with a 2-0 deficit, they have to come up huge and really kind of start to get that ball rolling now, as we only have 3 minutes left in game number 4.
Absolutely. And SU, in this moment, you know, they're going back to the roots of playing for these double commits. You know, they're playing, we're going to win the 50-50s. If we don't, you know, our Lord and Savior Kiazi's back in the goal. He'll figure it out from there while we rotate back. You know, they're going to send everything they got at them, you know, kind of layer these goals onto them, maybe get 4 or 5 as obviously they're going into the next series. But now you still have 2.5 minutes. Arkansas can take it away, but Mango's kind of carrying it into the corner. Stizzy's able to take a touch off of it, but Pagani's here to contest.
Yeah, Fruit with some boosts to work with, takes it up high, passing it down to Stizzy, but won't be able to find the angle that they were looking for. Now cresting the halfway mark of game number 4, still holding a strong 2-0 lead are the Hornets. Fruit winning out on the 50-50 there, pushing that one off into the corner, but Pagani is there to find a potential clear, but now off the backboard. Who's there for Arkansas? Absolutely nobody. It's SU instead able to find that catch, and now a clear on target. Mango buries it. 3-0 SU.
Absolutely buries it, Mango does. And that comes from that freaky touch. I honestly thought it was really, really scary, but he kind of just tapped it straight down to Pagani. Obviously, their communications kind of firing on all cylinders at this moment. Mango knew exactly where he would be. Then he rotated, got the big boost, and then was able to just score the goal from there.
Yeah, kickoff now in favor of Arkansas with 2 to go, but unable to capitalize on that very favorable kickoff for them there. Now with 1.5 minutes to go, 1:45 to go. SU, I mean, really, what do you do here? Just kind of play defense. You have the cushion. You have a 3-0 lead here in game number 4. You're on series point as well. So if you can just keep from falling apart and crumbling here in the last 90 seconds, I mean, you've punched your ticket to top 8.
Man, if it were that simple, Ben, but obviously Griff is not going to play that way. Mango is just not, that's not in his MO. They're going to try and go for more goals. Obviously, they're going to keep doing these aggressive plays, not fully playing possession. They don't want to rely just on their defense. They just want to keep this relentless assault and peppermint of shots on goal as Mango goes for 1. Again, Arkansas has 3 players around the ball, none with any boost. They can't make a play every single time. Pagani now looking for a 50-50, maybe not able to, but Kiazi's there as well, just constantly peppering this goal with shots, and Arkansas has no answer right now.
And this is kind of the clock formation that we mentioned earlier at the start. We saw Pagani go in, not be able to find it. Kiazi in, Mango in, and back again. At the start was Pagani back on those boost rotations to try to continuously apply pressure here. 35 seconds left. Mango up in the air. Blitz, the one able to push that one out of harm's way. But we'll have to see what Arkansas can do. With 30 seconds left, you're down 3. You got to find something, and you got to find it now.
Yeah, 30 seconds for the rest of your lives in NECC. You have to make a play now. But again, just Shenandoah seems to have possession at every moment. We go for a back wall play. Mango gets an awkward touch. He has to go for it again. Gets the flip reset, but it kind of gets pot down, but Pagani's there to save it.
Yeah, 5 seconds left. This game is done and dusted. Can Arkansas finish this one on a positive note with 1 second left? How long can they keep it up in the air? Mango with a shot on goal. Fruit with yet another save, but finally the ball will reach the ground. It's a 3-1 victory against Arkansas for SU, and they now will play the winner of New Mexico State or Southern New Hampshire University. Not sure what team won their top 16 match that was going on while this one was going on, but we will just have to wait and see. But the doubleheader now confirmed. SU move on.
Yeah, the doubleheader indeed has been confirmed, which now the mental game sets in. You know, one of these games in this series, Ben, let me remind you that SU got scored on 4 times.
Yeah.
And that is not a, when you're trying to forget this game, forget this series, go into the next series as a fresh series. It's really hard to sit there and be like, yeah, no, we played perfectly, because they didn't. They had some mistakes. They need to make some slight adjustments. And right now, you just have to, in this, 15, 20 minutes until the next game, now you have to kind of fix them.
Yeah, and there were some kind of dropped assignments in game number 2. The defensive side of things, the rotations were not there on any party on the side of SU, right? They were trying too hard to force this offensive pressure that they were able to in game number 1 in that overtime, but they just weren't able to carry it over. Arkansas doing a great job at changing the pace of the game as well, playing a lot faster than they did in game number 1, kind of catching SU back on their heels a little bit there, pushing their aggression, setting up their passing plays. I mean, Blitz had 3 goals in this series, Fruit with 2, Stizzy with 1. So all of them were starting to come alive later in this series, but SU finally finding their momentum. Pagani with 2, Kiazi with 2 in game number 1 to seal the deal, and Mango with 3 goals in the series as well, starting to come alive.
Yeah, Mango obviously cannot let anyone else on the team as the captain outscore him. He had to do 3. But this is kind of the epitome of playing to your identity, but not too much. In that game 2, Shenandoah played to your identity full out. They kept doing these triple commits, and it was just a little bit too much. They weren't able to rotate back. But then game 3 and game 4, they kind of dialed it back, and they started to play more to their identity, but a little bit slower pace, kind of waited for Arkansas to make a mistake or a missed touch, and they played it beautifully from then on out.
Yeah, I mean, that's it for game number 1 here, folks. We now will go to a quick break and await the winner of New Mexico State and Southern New Hampshire University for our top 8 match. Don't go anywhere. This is a great time for a bathroom break. Watch the NBA draft. The Giants took Abdul Carter, by the way, not a quarterback, so kind of curious about what their game plan is. Oh, wait, they have Russell Wilson. What am I talking about? Hey, great idea. I love what you guys went through. Yeah, completely forgot that happened, but hey, don't go anywhere. Grab some popcorn, bathroom break as well, and we will see you guys in just a moment.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
5, so it will be a minimum of 3 games, a maximum of 5, as Kiai's going to take it up in the air and will find a very, very quick goal within the stuck in this corner, but finally Kiazi able to find a clear, a touch, maybe not the one that Fruit was looking for, but we'll be able to get capitalized on and on point the pinch there.
Mango off the backboard, maybe off the corner now. And it's looking like Pagani can get a shot off, but Steezy with a great save on the backside.
Oh, Kiazi finds the angle.
And here we see Pagani go up, but it was a great save off of the back wall. Unfortunate for Pagani, he couldn't get the double touch, but again, now Arkansas is going to able
heavily on the defensive side here in game number 2. A minute and a half to work with, still plenty of time on the clock, but no, Stizzy in
for a play, but it just goes back into the corner now. Kiazi has to make a save, and again, being in this corner, kind of a bad place to be in if you're Shenandoah, as we see
towards that middle goal area. A great angle coming through from Blitz there. That's 2 now in this game, looking very, very strong.
And there's a force that they have. And right there, Pagani was able to kind of keep possession going for them. So even though these shots are slightly missing, we're hitting the corner a little bit as we see a goal go through for Fruit.
Halfway mark, Mango tossing that one up towards the crossbar, but again, it's Dizzy back on that clear. Arkansas really locking down on defense. Trying to follow up, but Pagani there on defense. 20 seconds left. Kiazi finding a clear. Mango with some space to work with, but Fruit is back into the corner, and will hope to keep it there for the time being as Mango wins out on the 50-50, has some boosts to work with, and we'll just watch it fall right. Indeed, a shot on goal, but Mango back in time on the defensive end for SU to find the save, and Pagani all the way down the field. Who's there for Arkansas? Absolutely nobody. It's SU instead able to find that catch, and now a clear on target. Mango buries it. 3. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our fun doubleheader Thursday here for Rocket League. We've punched our ticket to top 8, and we'll face New Mexico State, the 11th seed, upsetting the 6th seed in Southern New Hampshire University in a very, very tense 5-game series. Went the distance, came up New Mexico State. If you weren't here at the start, I'm Ben Kincaid, joined by Gavin Eldridge, and we have a lot to talk about going into this next matchup.
Yeah, we absolutely do. You know, New Mexico State also came from the same bracket as Arkansas, but was the number 1 seed entering playoffs. So, you know, on paper, they are better, but obviously, as we know from looking at the playoffs, that they lost to their sister team, but maintained 3rd seed in the entire tournament for their bracket. But looking at it, they are the 11th seed going into nationals. They just performed an upset against the 6th seed. But looking more into that series, there was only 8 goals scored in 5 games. So kind of a polarizing, you know, team idea from them, team identity from them. They play very defensively, at least from what we see. Obviously, when we get into the game, you know, it might be a little bit different, but just looking at the stats, because that's all we have, very defensive team.
Yeah, let's take a quick look at some of those stats here, the season stats of these two teams put side by side. Man, they're pretty darn close. Both teams 10-1. Very close game records as well. 34-11 on the side of SU, 33-16 on the side of New Mexico State. 91% series wins, and then a 67% on the side of New Mexico State, and a 76% game win percentage on the side of SU. So pretty evenly matched in the stats department, but we'll just have to see how well that translates onto the pitch. But in the regular season for New Mexico State, 7-0. Undefeated. You mentioned earlier they lost to their sister team in playoffs, but they did end up winning 3rd place in that playoffs. Top 3 in that one. And yeah, it's going to be interesting. Game 5 in the last series, only 8 goals scored, like you mentioned as well. So it will be a very close matchup. Very interested to see where this one goes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, when you look at a bracket, you want 2 teams that are very evenly matched to be in, you know, the top 8 together. So that's a really good sign to see that we're going to see some good Rocket League here. Hopefully, you know, Shenandoah kind of has more rest. You know, their series only went to 4, while New Mexico's obviously went to 5. So they have a little bit more time to breathe, you know, step outside, you know, get some cool air, whatever you need to just kind of reallocate and refocus up. So
yeah, and let's take a quick visit back to that first series here. We have our player of the series here. It does go to Mango. 3 goals in the series, 1 assist, 6 saves, 14 shots on target coming through from the captain. Coming alive later on in this series than we expected. It was a lot of Chiazzi and Pagani in game 1 and game number 3. I mean, Chiazzi, the only 2 goals scored in game number 1 to give them the overtime win in game 1 and to make it so that they could go to overtime with an early goal in game number 1. As we fly through, click through some of our players here, we'll have to see how locked in they are after that first series.
Yeah, I mean, Chiazzi kind of got quiet after the first game, but that's all you need. You know, you have 3 people, you need 3 wins, so you need 1 person to step up for each. But obviously, Mango likes to go above and beyond, being the captain that he is. The thing to look at from those stats is the 14 shots on goal. That's a lot. That's like a big number in terms of Rocket League. You know, obviously, we see that teams get a lot of saves. You know, there's a lot of things that look like shots, but don't actually get calculated shots inside the game. So to have 14 means that you're playing a very, very aggressive series. And like we said with New Mexico State, they had a player that I believe had 21 saves over the 5-game series.
Yeah.
So Mango kind of putting on this pressure, but also New Mexico State is able to absorb it. So the series, when we look at it, it's just going to be kind of an unmovable object against a brick wall, and we're going to see who comes out ahead.
Yeah, 21 saves is a lot, right? Yes. And it's from this one player specifically as well, a defensive demon, which also had 4 of the 8 goals that New Mexico State scored in their previous series. So both sides of the field, this player plays very, very strong, very calm, cool, collected from what we can see from the stats. At least we'll see how well we see that in the actual gameplay itself. But I would definitely expect this matchup and this series to really go back and forth. This is another best of 5, so minimum 3 games, maximum 5 games, the tried and true BO5 that we see here in Rocket League. So this could go quick. This could take a while. We will just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and looking at like mentality, I was talking to the team after their first series, obviously, And I talked to Pagani about the second game, and he said, we lost this game. He completely blocked that out from his memory, and I said, that is incredible work. That's exactly what you need to do. He has no memory of it. That's completely whited out in his head.
Yeah.
So they are just completely locked in on their wins, what they did well, what they need to improve, but kind of forgetting the unmemorable stuff, like getting 4 goals scored in one game.
Right. Yeah. No. That is kind of good to hear, right? That Pagani's like, nah. That doesn't
happen.
That's not real. So they are coming in with some confidence, it sounds like, into this New Mexico State series. So we'll see if they can back it up. We'll see if Mango can continue the momentum from the tail end of that first series into the beginning of this series here against New Mexico State. Let's see if Pagani starts to come around and see how well Kiazi can really hunker down on that defensive side of things. I mean, Mango, during the break as well, was like, yeah, Kiazi's playing great. He's doing everything that he needs to be doing. So I'm glad to hear that there's still confidence within each other, knowing that, hey, we can do this. We just need to trust in each other, in our play styles, and really kind of hit the ground running and not slow down.
Yeah, the boys are feeling good. They're feeling very confident going into the series, which is exactly what you want to hear. You know, obviously this is a huge game, top 8 of NECC Nationals. Like, now you just have to go a little bit further, and then you can potentially win your division in Nationals. But you have to stay mentally straight. That first game last series was very close. Obviously went to overtime, went like 3 minutes into overtime. That kind of rattled Shenandoah a little bit. You know, the game 2, it's obviously that forgettable moment, like getting 4 goals scored on you. But that's because game 1, they got scatterbrained. They're like, oh wait, like we didn't score 4 goals. We didn't play super aggressive. We didn't get it. Essentially, we didn't walk to a win. They had to work for it. So now, going into this first game, obviously New Mexico State, we know that they have this wall of defense. They have this iron curtain, some might say, of just unpenetrable. And you have to stay mentally straight. You have to be like, okay, it's fine, whatever. This shot didn't go through, but maybe the 8th, 9th, 10th one will go in. You just have to stay consistent with it.
Yeah, a steel curtain, some would say. The Pittsburgh Steelers pick number 21 in the NFL draft. If you were curious, I will definitely be paying attention to that one myself. We'll have to see. Tetaroa McMillan just went to the Panthers. Wide receiver out of Arizona.
I did not know that one.
I had no idea. Hey, if you're also curious, Ashton Genty got picked up by the Raiders with the 6th overall pick. So, hey, we're paying attention on 2 fronts here, but mainly Rocket League. Don't get us wrong. We're paying attention to our own team here. So we'll have to see kind of what happens. Hopefully the game 1 does not kind of flop back and forth. I know the game 1 certainly, like you said, rattled them earlier on in the series, and they had to kind of bounce back. We saw the ending of the catastrophic ending that was game number 2, or not even the ending, the whole 5 minutes, right? They were not able to get that ball rolling. So if we have a calm, cool, collected game 1, maybe we can then kind of hop on that horse and really keep this one going.
Yeah, and a nice thing from like a viewing perspective when we go to the cameras is that our team, they're very bad at poker. And what I mean by that is that they cannot hide their emotion. If they are feeling very confident and very happy, Mango and Kiazi are going to show it. Pagani, you know, a little bit different. He kind of just chills. But if they're mad, they're all 3 going to show it. And you're going to know from a mile away that they're feeling. Even you're also going to vocally hear, obviously. Sometimes Mango likes to get a little loud. But just their ability to forget it, their ability to move on, to, you know, mentally reset themselves back down is pivotal here.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. We are going to toss to a quick break as we wait for both sides to be ready to hop into this game number 5. So quick ad break. Watch the draft. I don't know how far we are. I think that was probably, what, pick 8?
8 or 9.
Maybe 8 or 9, something like that. That was pick 7.
Pick 7,
man,
apparently.
We're early in this one, so we'll have to wait and see where this draft goes. But hey, grab more popcorn, use the restroom a second time, and we will be right back.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Well, hey, team. Welcome back. I hope your popcorn gathering and second bathroom break was a success. Unfortunately, that was not needed. You could have gone whenever you wanted to, because unfortunately, we do not have a second game here tonight. Don't know what the scenario looks like for that game. Might be played later in the evening, a reschedule. Unsure what that one will look like, but nevertheless, top 8 secured for SU. We'll see if they advance to top 4 later on. But unfortunately, this will conclude our evening of Rocket League.
Yeah, unfortunately, indeed. Kind of looking forward to the series, but we don't really know what's happening. They got to figure it out, like team, our competition coordinator. They all got to figure out what's going on. So
yeah, so that kind of wraps up the Rocket League side of things. But first, I have 2 picks to announce to you folks. All right, we have Kelvin Banks Jr., offensive tackle, drafted by the Saints. Now, if you know a little bit of something about the Saints, is it's that their quarterback room is dead.
They have no quarterback room.
They don't have a quarterback. And Shadur Sanders was still on the board. What does that mean about Shadur? I don't know.
They assume he's dropping to round 2 is what it means, frankly.
Round 2?
I mean
what? The Colts might need a quarterback, and the Steelers, sadly, still need a quarterback. I'm hoping for Jackson Dart, personally.
Don't you have? Oh, no, that's the Browns.
Well, we have Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, the Mason Rudolph.
Yeah.
I was thinking Kenny Pickett, but I believe the Browns.
Yeah, he got signed from the Browns. So well, interesting pick that the Saints came up with. That was pick number 9, and there was a 10th one as well. Colston Loveland, tight end from Michigan to the Bears. The Bears select a tight end with the 10th overall pick. Whoa, okay. Niners as well, the 11th pick. Michael Williams, I believe it was, an edge rusher. I don't know. Out of Georgia. So he's a dog.
He's a dog, Your Honor.
He's a demon. All right, they got a 6'10" edge is what I just heard out of Georgia. That's nice.
Interesting. So going back to the Bears pick, a tight end. Listen, me personally, I don't think tight ends should really be drafted that high. I don't think.
Where was Brock Bowers? Brock Bowers was pretty.
Oh, that's a production question.
Top 10? I think it was 7 or something.
A very questionable top 10, but yeah, sure, we can say that.
Questionable. Bowers was a.
Our production didn't sound very confident in the top 10, is what I meant.
I see.
I mean, Brock Bowers is kind of a freak athlete, to be fair. So drafting a tight end here instead of a defensive lineman, a D tackle, or anything else. Oh, okay. Production was wrong.
Overall. Okay. 13th overall was Brock Bowers. It was when he was selected. So, Colston Loveland, 3 picks before Brock. You better show up.
Yeah, you gotta
make something happen, because there are some big shoes indeed. So, hey, that's all. Yeah, definitely true. Definitely later than Kyle Pitts. So, hey,
we don't talk about him.
We don't pick him in fantasy. It never works. We say it's his year. It never is. So just don't do it. 0 touchdowns, I think. Maybe 2.
I think 2.
In last season.
1 or 2.
I don't know. Something like that. We're not going to pull up every stat in the book. But hey, that's all the picks that we have to announce to you guys right now. I mean, I saw a producer kind of leaning towards the microphone. Maybe not.
No, I don't think so.
Nothing. Never mind. That will do it for us tonight. Continue watching the NFL Draft if you are so inclined to follow along with the rest of the picks coming through tonight. Not sure who's on the clock. Dallas is on the clock with the 12th overall pick, so we'll have to wait and see what Dallas does, because, their QB situation ain't any better, to be honest with you. So, hey, I've been Ben Kincaid. This has been Gavin Eldridge, and we will see you next time, I believe next week, for some Super Smash Bros. On Tuesday. Can't wait to get it done. See you guys next time.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus, to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the esports arena is the esports war room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Jump scare, Tyler Booker, guard to the Dallas Cowboys from Alabama. Interior lineman, offensive lineman, some protection back for Dak Prescott. Let's see if they can get it done. This might just be their year. We'll see you guys next time.